All right, everyone. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with me lately. I have very little energy to edit these videos. It is Tuesday, I almost said October, June 10th. At the moment, this should go up on Friday, whatever day that is, June 11th, 13th, I think. These videos are from like 3 weeks ago at this point. I started editing them and realized I had to do the voiceover and postponed it, and then all of a sudden realized yesterday that I don't know what happened to this video, and started thinking back about it. I'm like, did I edit it? Did I export it? What have I done with it? So then I opened up the file and realized I just never actually did the voiceover. So now I'm here doing the voiceover, and hopefully it will actually be up when I want it to be. Yeah, so life is kind of kicking me in the butt. Lots going on. Starting to get a sore throat, so I hope I'm not getting sick. Might have to pick something up at Walgreens, but let's try to get through this in a clear and concise manner. I have 4 clients in this video. 2 of them are gel overlays, which I am doing right now using Nails.X from Apres. And I mostly wanted to focus on the designs because all of the techniques are basically the same. Actually, there are 3 in here that are gel overlays using Nails.X liquids, and then the 4th one or the 3rd one in order of them appearing in this video is a dip manicure. So mostly focusing on the design, just basically barely touching on the actual process of the gel fill for the gel overlay. But normal prep, removing the product from the last manicure, going in and smoothing out the surface of the nail, rebalancing it for structure, then going in and prepping the nail with the hydrator and protein bond, and then going in and doing a slip layer over the nail so that, you know, gel adheres to gel, it finds its own level. So I find it easier, not all people do, to put that thin layer of gel on first and then go ahead with a larger amount and pushing it up towards the cuticle to create somewhat of a thicker bead so that it flows downward towards the apex, and then smoothing it out, making it thinner towards the free edge, and then using the liner brush like I'm doing right now to pull it around the side walls and the proximal nail fold before flash curing it. You do want to flash cure as you go. Do 1 nail at a time before sticking it in the lamp for a full cure. Don't forget that flash curing does not fully cure the product. It is just to stop it from moving on the nail before you go ahead and put the hand in your lamp for a full cure, which is anywhere from 30 seconds to 90 seconds depending upon the product. So make sure you check your labels. Apres is only 30 seconds, but I always have the lamp set for 60 so that by the time I finish one hand, I know the other hand is fully cured. Once the light goes on, you really don't need to have your client turn the light back on unless you want to kind of cheat them. You know that they move around a lot. You know that they touch things and get lint and fuzz on their nails. You can always go and say, oh, honey, just reset that lamp, put your hand back in for an additional cure time so that they're not moving around. They keep their hand out of the way. Once that is done, you can go in with your color if you're doing a 1 color manicure, or you're going in with a full design. I am using, what brand is this? Born Pretty. They're one of their jelly colors, very pale pink, beautiful color, perfect for French manicures, which is what we're doing in this set. It is a pearl white French manicure with a gold accent line. And that's really it for this manicure. Usually my client goes a little bit, not crazy, but a little bit more of an in-depth design. This one's a little bit more classy and classic. It's actually ironic because she sent me the image and I had already saved something similar to do for myself, which will be coming up in an upcoming video. A little bit more embellished for myself, but the idea and concept is exactly the same for something that I'd already planned for myself. So really excited about that. But getting the pearl effect is really cool and really easy, and I will show you how to do that in a moment. I have 3 different shades. This one comes with the bottle brush, the liner brush, and it's got like this straight pearlescent finish. When you pull it up the nail, it's kind of like a straight flow. You see that sheen of a pearl effect, but to really get that, like, I guess like a shell effect, you then go in with the silhouette with the point of a dotting tool and you just swirl it around. And I'll show you what I mean in a moment once I get the French design on there the way I want it. So then going in with the dotting tool and just really just making circles, swirling it around the nail. And then you want to just make sure that it's even and not pooled in any one spot before you go ahead and flash cure it. When you're doing a French manicure, you really don't need to flash cure as you go unless you're worried about hitting a nail and smudging it. But since I am doing that pearl effect, I didn't know if it would reset itself and as the gel kind of moves around and settles. So I wanted to make sure I got the pattern all set before going into the next nail. All right, we've got both hands done now, both hands cured, and I'm going in with a gel. Yes, we know it's gel. A gold gel paint from Madame Glam, and just putting in that French line, the smile line accent. You can use any length brush that you want as long as it's got as few bristles as possible. I like really thin, delicate lines. This one is the 11 millimeter by Melody Susie. I would suggest doing either an 11 or what's the next one up? I think it's, no, the 11 is the next one up. I'm using the 7. Going in with either a 7 or an 11 millimeter just because it's going to give you a little bit more stability. If you go shorter, it's a little bit more difficult to get a straight line without it being wibbly wobbly. So just starting from one side and bringing it up to the apex, and then going around the other side to connect it. All right, finishing up with a top coat, and I am putting it on a little thicker. I want to make sure I have a really nice, smooth, straight light line, so I am floating it on as if I would, as I would do with a, what's it called? With the structure part of the gel, with the thicker gel, just so that I could level out the nail, get a little bit more clean. And being that I'm putting it on a little bit thicker, I was flash curing each nail as I went before having her cure her whole hand. Now I just finished filing, finishing off with some hand cream with aloe vera and then some pineapple scented cuticle oil, which is my favorite. I absolutely love it. Moving on to my next client, I believe this was the same day. I'm doing another structured gel manicure. This is also a backfill, so same process as the last client where I went in, removed her last color, rebalanced the nail, reshaped her nail, took down the length a little bit, then went in and prepped the cuticle, did some cuticle removal, and sanding and smoothing of the skin around the nail, the sidewall, and the proximal nail fold, and now going in with my prep. So this is also Gel X. Last time she did a structured gel manicure, we did it with Luminary, but she decided not to use Luminary this time, not for any specific reason. She just didn't book it. So going in with Gel X. And I'm not going to go too in depth with the process because we just did it with the last client. So I'm going to skip ahead in my narration to the actual design, which is a beautiful rose gold marble. Now, I apparently didn't hit record when I was doing the left hand, but it's a good thing that I record both hands because, sorry, I didn't do her right hand. Left to you, right to her. I didn't record her right hand, but thankfully I record both hands, so I was able to show you what I did with her left hand, which we will get to in a moment. Now, unfortunately, since I wasn't recording, I don't remember what color I used for the base. I believe Let me stand up and grab it. I believe it was Show Me collection from, don't remember what the VM stands for. I will post it down in the description box, but it's beautiful pale pink jelly color VM01 Show Me line. I believe it's the Show Me line. And I absolutely love it. I need to use these colors more. I don't use them nearly enough, but I'm also going in with a few other colors for the marbling, which is a pretty easy technique. It's kind of those things that it's just, you have to trust the process. You do want to go in with blooming gel. I put on the base coat color, cured both hands, and went in with a coat of blooming gel. You don't want to lay it on too thick because you're going to be going in with subsequent colors and really bulking up that nail if you're not careful. Also, it's going to slide into the sidewalls and bloat the free edge, and you want to keep it as nice and streamlined as possible. But I'm using a few other colors, one from Apres, one from efile, and there's a darker rose in there that I'm not really sure what it is, but I will figure it out and put it down below. The efile is a glitter that I'm dropping in there just for a bit more depth and sparkle. So really just laying it down on the palette and swirling it around. And then once you put that slip layer of blooming gel on the nail, you can use either an ombre brush or a liner brush. Oh, okay, I just saw it. I know it's yogurt gel. Or an application brush like I'm doing right now, and just drop it onto the nail, swirl it around, let the blooming gel do its thing and spread, and then you can use a liner brush to coach it a little bit more along the way to get that effect that you like. You can always also do multiple layers. If you do a thin layer, cure it, then go in with another layer on top, you get this really great depth because of the shadow between the layers, creating more of a kind of like that really stone granite marble effect where you see the layers upon layers of stone. It's a lot of fun to work with. It's one of my favorite techniques to play around with. You'll see, if you've followed me for a while, you'll see that I do marbling a lot. I just did a turquoise one that I wore to Premiere Orlando. That video will be coming up shortly, so stay tuned for that. And like I said, you can always go back in and layer more effects on top. I'm going in with a rose gold gel paint from Madame Glam. And you do want to stir it up before you go ahead and use it, because the pigments will separate and kind of get a little bit darker. So you want to mix that up and, get it looking the way it's supposed to look. So just using a liner brush, going in and laying some delicate lines in there, following the patterns that are already on the nail to create a little bit more veining and interest. Then once again going in with Madame Glam's No Wipe top coat. I do think Madame Glam's top coats are superior. I've used many Japanese brands, Korean brands, and domestic brands. And Madam Glam is definitely superior. The shine, it seems to get shinier the longer it wears. You know, every time I wash my hands, the shine is just, you know, second to none. I do love iGel Beauty also, but please be aware that iGel Beauty is very high in HEMA. So if you have clients that have HEMA allergies or you yourself have issues with it, I would not use iGel Beauty unless you check out. I think they have a line that is lower in HEMA or HEMA free. I'm not really sure, but definitely check your labels. Madam Glam, I absolutely love. I think it will be the only top coat that I use in the foreseeable future. So I don't always have to do this, but sometimes I notice after fact that there's not that the gel washed up on her cuticles or anything. It's just not as neat of a line as I would like. So I go in with my safety cuticle bit, just clean up a little bit going around the cuticles again before I finish my finish filing, finish with my hand cream and cuticle oil, and then we will be moving on to my next client. So this next client is a dip powder process. I know there's a lot of controversy in the professional industry with using dip powder, mostly because it's impossible to keep it 100% sanitary. You have multiple clients dipping their fingers into the same powder as other clients. Definitely in a salon atmosphere, that can lead to a lot of problems because although you've been through the process of, oh, look at that glitter all over the place. Salon environments tend not to be very sanitary, and they take everyone, whether they have fungus or greenies or otherwise. And no matter how well your client washes their hands, no matter how clean and sanitary you are, there's always the chance of your clients having something that you don't know about, and their fingers are going into a communal pot that everybody else's fingers are going into. And honestly, this is something that I do want to get away from. I'm having trouble pulling that trigger though, because I do have a few clients that will only ever do dip powder, and I'm not in the position career-wise right now, stability-wise, financially, where I can afford to lose clients that want to do a specific service. So I know my clients, I know them very well. All the clients that I have right now, I have had for 6 months to a year. And especially my dip powder clients, I know that they don't have a fungus because I am very neat and clean in how I work. And if I had given them a fungus, I would know it. So I'm willing to keep doing this service on them because I know they come to me. And if I ever suspected they had a problem with their nails, then I would not do dip with them. Or if I felt it was safe to do dip with them, then I would pour it off into a separate container like I'm doing right now, and then discard whatever I used on them to keep my other clients safe. That being said, going forward within the next year, I would like to discontinue the service. We'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to do so, but I digress. This is a combination dip process. We're doing a full glitter nail, and then we're doing glitter French accent, and we're doing it in a V format. So I always, with all of my colors, I start out with clear for structure. You always want to start off with clear, especially if your client has really long nails, because if you use just straight color, the more pigment is in a dip powder, the less stable it is, the less strong it is, because clear dip powder is 100% acrylic. So it's going to give you the most strength. So I'm not sure if I have the other hand in this video. Okay, I'm doing a second coating now. So go on and brush your glue on, and then you want to kind of rock the tip of the nail into the dip powder in the design that you want. If you want it to go in as a standard curved smile line, you want to have the nail almost perpendicular to the vessel that you're dipping in, so that you can get that nice deep curve. The straighter your nail goes down into it, almost vertically, the flatter your curve is going to be. If you want to do the V, you do one side of the nail, then you flip the finger over, you do the other side of the nail. I will try to show you on this nail. It's kind of out of camera view, but you see I'm going one side, and then I'm going to do the other side. And I'm having trouble getting the angle because of the way she's holding her hand, and you can't really see it anyway. Do one side, then the other, and then go ahead and dip in your secondary color. And then, because you need to coat the entire nail, so once you do the French accent, you then need to dip the finger into the clear or the sheer pink, whatever you're using for your background color. And then go ahead, and especially if you're using a glitter, you want to dip in clear again. Dipping in clear on top of a glitter or on top of a highly pigmented color will help preserve that glitter and that color, because once you go in and you start your finish filing, you're going to start wearing away at the color, and if it's highly pigmented, you can get streaks. It can start looking marbled and mottled, and if you have a colored glitter, then you're going to file off the outside color of the glitter, and you're going to be left with silver, which is on the inside. It's going to ruin the overall effect. So then once you dust it off, go ahead and go in with your number 3, your, what is it called? Activator. Go with your activator, and that's going to help set the powder and the glue. So I'm very fortunate that when I first started out doing dip manicures on myself 3 years ago, I purchased very good brands, not really knowing the difference between one brand or the other. I started out with Sparkle & Co. And while I haven't purchased from them now in more than 2 years, I have never found fault with any of their products. Their colors, their special effect dip powders are so well manufactured. They're so finely milled that the finish filing that you have to do is really very minimal. It goes on really smooth. There's no, it doesn't really get bulky. A lot of times if I use like an OPI or this other company, Wave, which I use at the salon, it can, when you're dipping into the powder, it can kind of get all, I can't think of the right word. Like it's almost like pushing fabric. It gets all clumpy. And there's a lot of finish filing that you have to do. And we always did like 1 coat of clear and 3 coats of color, or 1 coat of clear, 2 coats of color, and then another coat of clear. And you really had to do a lot of finish filing and cleaning up because you had to find the right profile of the nail again, because it would get messed up with the thickness of the powder. So with Sparkle & Co. and Vivid Glam Co. and Florida Nails and all these other companies that I use personally and professionally on my own, it's really just like using a 240 grit sanding band, a really light surface buff just to dull the shine from the glue and to, smooth it out just a bit. And going around the cuticle and the side walls with a cuticle bit just to, if there's any bleeding of the glue, and just to separate it from the skin. That's really all you need to do. Even just using one of the Polar block buffers will do everything that you need to do, aside from going around the free edge with a regular hand file to smooth that out and reshape the nail if you need to do so. But really, I'm not putting any pressure, just a light skimming of the surface to rough it up before I go in with my top coat. And unless the client asks for a dip top coat, I usually defer to gel. I find it easier, it's more reliable. I've had a lot of experience in the salon with, for whatever reason, the glue doesn't dry out properly. Could just be humidity in the air or inferior product or cross-contamination, but I never have problems using a gel top coat to finish it off. But you do want to make sure that you put on a bonding agent of some sort before you go in with your top coat, or else it will start to peel and chip. Before I do the top coat though, I am going in with this glitter gel liner to highlight that French accent. Since it is a glitter, it doesn't really go on as cleanly as you would like, especially if you're doing the V format for the French. So I just wanted to pull that out a little bit more. So I'm using a glitter gel that matches the glitter that we use on the nails. All right, finishing off this manicure, going in with the IBD, is it Protein Bond? What is it? IBD LED UV bonder to get that tacky layer back on the nail before going in with the top coat. This does need to be cured. There are some that don't need to be cured. The protein bond from the Young Nails doesn't need to be cured. Just put it on, give it a minute, let it, evaporate, get tacky. But the IBD UV bonder does need to be cured for 60 seconds. So putting that on over the entire nail, make sure you cap your edges, then going in with Madame Glam's No Wipe Top Coat, and that will finish off this manicure. All right, 43 minutes in. I know this is a long video. Please stay with me because now we're with my sister. My sister had planned to come down to Florida. She lives up in New York. She had planned to come down in April, but events conspired against us. She was not able to make it. So now she was able to make it in May, just before Memorial Day weekend. And I am doing her nails as I usually do whenever she comes down. And she'll be back down again in July because we will be going on vacation. So I'll be doing her nails again before we go. But this is also another structure gel mani. We are doing a fill. I'm removing the color from her last manicure, and then I'll be reshaping her nails. I did cut a lot of this video out just because she's my sister. I love her, but she loves messing with me. So pulling her hands out of the way, leaning into the camera, talking crap about me, but she's my sister. She's allowed to do that. But some of the video wasn't really usable. So, and even the footage that I kept in, it's not really in frame too well. She does also have very sensitive nail beds. So if you see her jump, I assure you it's not anything I'm doing wrong. She's just very, very, very sensitive. And I was actually surprised that she didn't jump as much as she usually does. It just goes to show I'm getting better and better. But did trim down her nails, reshape them. She did not grab the nail file away from me as she's done before. And we went in with, I believe I still used Nails.X on her. Nails.X is usually my default unless somebody requests something else. But we're going to be doing a similar video, similar design to what I did on myself about a month or so ago, where I did the white and blue China floral pattern nails. She's usually a one color girly, so we did it just on one nail as an accent. So I will show you that when we get to it if you want to speed ahead. Let's see if I can find it without resetting I'm not going to be able to find it. But I will put it up in, I'll let you know where you can jump ahead to see the design. But basically, we're going to go ahead and reshape, reprofile clean up the nails, clean up the cuticles, do the backfill, and then we'll get into the design. All right, everyone, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. That's going to wrap it up. I know it was a long one. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I think this is the most coherent I've ever been in any of the videos. Maybe I should let the video sit for 3 weeks before I actually do the audio voiceover if I'm not doing it live in camera. But anyway, all the information for the products that I used on all of my clients will be in the description box below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you always know when new videos are available. Let me know if you like videos like this. I will try to keep them a little bit shorter in the future. But until then, thank you. I love you all, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.